All right, in this section, we're going to be going over zone drops and looking at these coaching adjustments and kind of teaching you guys how to maximize your zone drops. So, in coaching adjustments, we have something called auto flip defensive play call. Again, this is going to vary from formation to formation. So again, I would just leave this off for now. But basically, what this does is, your slot cornerback is going to line up on the side where there's more receivers, or the slot corner is going to line up to the strong side of the formation every time. So again, it's up to you if you want to have that on or off. Auto alignment, again, we usually leave this on the fault. Again, you don't want this on base because usually the guys line up too far outside the receivers, and they can get burned deep on the streak. And sometimes we use man auto alignment, but it's kind of rare. So usually, again, just leave it on the fault. Again, ball in the air defense, this doesn't really work too well. If you want to, you can put it on play ball. Again, cornerback matchups, again, I would leave this on balance. Usually don't use this too often. And again, option defense. If someone's really killing you with option, or they're killing you with a quarterback, again, you can utilize aggressive or conservative. And again, I would only use something like this, strip ball and tackling in late game situations. So maybe you really need a big play. You really need a turnover, force a turnover again. I would use this in desperate times because you can get penalized for this. So again, use this towards the end of the game, like if you need a hit stick fumble or a strip. But for most of the game, I will have this unbalanced. Now, again, they added these zone drops this past year, and again, I think this was a phenomenal addition to the game because it kind of allows you to guard these pesky corner routes and crossing routes that we talked about so much. And also, like I was talking about when we were breaking down the individual zones, we're saying how the outside quarters don't really guard those crossing routes how they're supposed to, so we kind of got to use these zone drops. So again, this is usually what I have my zone drops on. Again, it can vary from game to game, depending on what someone's doing. But again, one of the common questions I get or common concerns is, how to stop crossing routes, how to stop these long corner routes. And then, if I commit to stopping crossing routes, how do I stop the underneath stuff as well? So again, I'll usually have my zone drop flats on 25. And again, we want to use the flats instead of curl flats because, again, remember those flats are those cloud flats, and they're going to get to the sidelines as quick as possible. And that's what we want when defending the crossing route or the corner routes. Whereas a purple, it's going to take its time getting to the sideline. So even if you have your curl flats at 25, you can still get beat to the sideline on a crossing route or a corner route. So again, put your flats on 25. I usually have my curl flats in 5 or 10. And hooks, again, this will vary. But again, the general rule of thumb is flats on 25, curl flats on 5. Now, yeah, let's kind of go over defending, these annoying, crossing routes. And again, that's why we make the crossing routes our base plays because, you have to commit a lot to stopping these crossing routes because they are really effective. So again, we're going to put our flats on, we got our flats on 25. Again, what this does is, so we have the ball, okay, let me put it at the 20, so. Basically what this does is, if we put our flats on 25, so the ball right now is placed at the 20, so these flats, this hard flat, it should run to the 45 to guard the crossing routes. And that's usually, so if you see that a crossing route is running about, so this one can get to the 35, all the way to the end at like the 40, 45. So again, we want to have, the zone drop guarding it all the way to the end. And, this route kind of ends at the 45. So Again, we want to drop our. We just got to do some basic math here and say, okay, they're at the 20. You know, the crossing route's can run 25 yards. So, again, we want to have our flats on 25. So, can meet this crossing route at the 45. So, again, let's do that here. Again, as you can see, that flat runs to the 25, and again, it's gonna meet the crossing route at its end destination. So, and that's why it's so important to start utilizing these zone drops. So, again, you don't always have to run with these crossing routes. You know, you don't have to run with these crossing routes with your user. You can just zone drop them to, you know, meet these routes at their end destination. So, and that's why we use, you know, these 25-yard flats. And again, it's going to be really effective for us, you know, like say a corner route as well. So, say someone's killing you with corner routes. Again, same thing. Gonna meet him. It's gonna meet him at the 45. Again, it's gonna make this a really tough window to, you know, complete that pass. So now once you take away those corner routes and, you know, the deep crossing routes, you know, a lot of times what people say is, man, now I'm gonna get just killed underneath, because, man, if I'm putting my flats on 25, then, you know, shit underneath is gonna be wide open. So again, and I agree. So to kind of counter that, I'll show you guys how to do this play. But again, this with the flats on 25 is, you know, you can't give up, you know, those underneath options. But what we can do to counter that is we can put, you know, 2 flats on the sideline. So this is why I tell you guys too, like, you know, you wanna attack the sidelines at different depths of the field, because again, if someone's like starts zone dropping you to stop like your deep crossing routes and corner routes, you know, then you're gonna have the underneath option. So it's important to have those, you know, flood concepts going on either sidelines. Again, make them feel like they have to do this, something like this, where they have to have 2 sideline defenders to guard your route concepts. So again, this is why we have the 5-yard purples, so that we can guard the underneath options as well. Because obviously, if we have our flats all the way on 25, the underneath is going to be wide open when we do that. So again, if someone's killing you underneath when you put your flats on 25, you can put your curl flats on 5. So you're going to have the deep crossers and corners covered, and you're still going to have this underneath covered now. So look. So now we're still going to be able to guard that crossing route, but now we can guard the underneath as well. And this has become a really popular concept in Madden. It's called double maple. And basically what that means is just you have 2 sideline defenders at every depth. So at different depths. So again, we have this sideline defender guarding deep on the sideline, this sideline defender guarding short. And again, that's why I tell you guys to attack the sidelines consistently, to force them in, make them feel like they have to do this. And then, obviously, it's going to leave the middle of the field to you. Because, again, in Madden, you want someone to attack the user over the middle of the field. You know, maybe you don't have the best user, but, again, we go into great detail on how to develop a great user and the maximizing the user defender course, which I would recommend. But, again, usually in Madden, you want to force people into the middle of the field at someone's user. And, you know, if you don't have the best route concepts, then it can be tough to consistently move the ball versus a user over the middle of the field, you know, depending if, you know, they have a great user or not. But again, this will be a great concept for taking away a lot of the popular route concepts in Madden, though, and that's why getting these zone drops in your game are so important, and just kind of, you know, working with them, because you're going to be able to stop a lot of the popular route concepts if you're able to kind of, you know, get these zone drops down. And it's not complicated at all. This is, you know, simple. It's just, you know, you just kind of identify what kind of what parts of the field are killing you, and then you can kind of dedicate a zone drop to that part of the field to defend what route combo or what route is giving you trouble.